They started like mainstreaming retarded kids and putting them in the regular ed classrooms. And I used to teach AP literature, and they started putting kids who normally couldn't get into AP literature in there because they couldn't do what is necessary to be in AP literature. And they would put them in my class, and my kids that had been in AP all their life would be like, Mr. Montgomery, what is he doing in here? Why? Because they would mess up the class. They didn't know how to behave. They weren't interested in the material. They couldn't understand the material. And when I moved from teaching the lower level literature classes to AP, oh, it was heaven. These kids love to learn. They're extraordinarily intelligent. And when you get a bunch of them in a room, they just feed off each other and the learning just becomes exponentially better. And you put one or two kids in there that can't do it, and you'll ruin the whole class. The whole system will start breaking down, and those kids won't be enriched, and the kids that are already there won't have that exponential learning that happens when they feed off of each other, because the one kid asks stupid questions or is upset because they don't understand anything that's going on, so they start acting out. It just becomes a horrible problem for the whole place, and the other kids who are used to that wonderful learning environment are upset about it, and we're upset about it. And it's the same thing with transsexuals in the workplace. You put transsexuals in the workplace, they're very depressed, they have a lot of emotional problems, and they are going to bring all those to work. Not to mention the fact that 90-something% of male transsexuals look cartoonish. I mean, and it's an unpleasant cartoon. And to have to look at that every day is just off-putting, and it's unnecessary, and it keeps the workplace from flowing in the way that it should. Not to mention that all their emotional problems, they can't set them aside because their emotional problems are who they are. We all have emotional problems, but there are some of us that can keep our emotional problems to ourselves at work and do the task at hand. They cannot. Their emotional problems are right out there on the outside. And that is the difference between transsexuals and everyone else. We all have sexual hang-ups, sexual, kinks, but we can keep those to ourselves. We don't ask other people to be involved with them except, our partners or consenting adults away from work. These people ask others to be involved in their sexual kink or sexual dysfunction, really. And we all have dysfunction. I'm not saying that they're special, but they are special in the fact that they insist that the world must, change and be involved in their sexual dysfunction instead of handling it themselves. And once you start insisting that other people become part of your sex life, then you've gone too far. It's like a criminal. You've stepped over the line and you've started your hurt and your pain you're putting on others. And that's when we have to say no.